Shalom, everyone, to another episode of Living with the Times. Today is the 20th day of the month of Kislev. Yesterday on Shabbat was Yud Tet B'Kislev, the 19th day of Kislev, a very, very important date in the Jewish calendar for two reasons. It's the day that the Alter Rebbe, Shneur Zalman of Liadi, the initiator of the Chabad movement, he was accused of treason. He lived in Russia. He was accused of treason, a very, very serious charge, and he was arrested and taken to a high security jail and interrogated. And he was there for 53 days. No one knew if they would ever see him again. Treason, obviously, is a very serious charge. 53 days later, on Yud Tet B'Kislev, he was set free. After all those days of interrogation, the authorities determined that the charges were not true, and they actually came to have tremendous respect for the Alter Rebbe. So in the Chabad movement, it is a very, very big day. But there's something else that happened on this day, which is very connected to the Alter Rebbe, is that it's the day that his teacher, the Maggid of Mezrich, the one who took over the nascent Hasidic movement that was started by the Baal Shem Tov, it was still fairly miniature at the time. The Maggid of Mezrich took over, and during the approximately 11 years that he was the head of the movement, it began to spread like wildfire. And it was because really of the personality of the Maggid. Well, the Alter Rebbe was the youngest of his students. And a few days before he passed away, he called in the Alter Rebbe and he revealed many, many things to him. But one of the things he said is, because he knew he was about to die, and he knew it would be on Yud Tet B'Kislev. So he said to him, Yud Tet B'Kislev, that is our day. And at the time, it wasn't clear what that meant. But in the future, when the Alter Rebbe was liberated on Yud Tet B'Kislev, it became clear that the Maggid was able to see in Ruach HaKodesh, with divine inspiration, that it was truly our day. The most important book that the Alter Rebbe composed and left for the Jewish people was the Tanya. The Tanya is learned by people every day across the entire world. And originally, when the Alter Rebbe sent it to be printed, he wanted very much for it to be finished on Yud Tet B'Kislev, because he wanted to give honor to his Rebbe. And something happened, and it was only finished on the 20th of Kislev. But there's also a connection with this, because the Alter Rebbe was let go on Yud Tet B'Kislev in the afternoon. And so he was taken to one of his followers, so he'd have a place to go after he was let out of prison. And by mistake, in the same building, there was someone else who lived there who was very, very against the Hasidic movement. And by mistake, they took him to his house And so the Alter Rebbe, who was what's called a mensch, he was like trapped there for many hours. Right near them, all his students had gathered to have a big celebration. And hour after hour went by and the Alter Rebbe didn't come. And they didn't understand what was happening. And then when they went out, they heard this neighbor was yelling at the Alter Rebbe, like, how could you have done this? And why did you change that? And all this anti-Hasidic accusations. And so it was really only on the 20th of Kislev, which is today, that the Alter Rebbe was truly liberated. In the Alter Rebbe's mind, the spiritual reason that he was arrested, there was a practical reason. He was accused of treason. But for him, he wanted to understand what's the spiritual reason behind this. And we have to remember it at this time, the Hasidic movement was new. It was very controversial. And during the Alter Rebbe's life, the portions of the Jewish world put a ban on having any connection with anyone associated with the Hasidic movement. It was a terrible split in the people. And the Alter Rebbe felt that his way of spreading Hasidut, because the Maggid sent the Alter Rebbe out to communities all over Latvia and Russia to spread the teachings of Hasidut. And so the Alter Rebbe felt that maybe there's really an accusation in heaven that's parallel to the accusation of treason here, that perhaps I'm not meant to share and spread the teachings of Hasidut in the way that I'm doing it. Now, I have to mention that of all of the students of the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid, the Hasidic movement is infused with Kabbalistic meaning. But the Baal Shem Tov found a language to take the deepest concepts that had been really only shared with the great minds of every generation. And he found a language to explain it to everyone. So he took these very profound concepts and found a relevant, relatively simple language to express it. The only exception was the Alter Rebbe. And the Maggid told him, your task is to teach over the deepest teachings of Hasidut based on Kabbalah, and you can use Kabbalistic language. That is what your task is. So the Alter Rebbe, really among all of the students of the Maggid, and many of them went out and became Rebbes in their own towns and cities, great Rebbes, tremendous Rebbes. But only he was teaching in the way of Chabad, Chachma, Bina, and Dat, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. These are Kabbalistic concepts. So he felt that perhaps heaven is telling me, maybe I'm not doing it right. So according to tradition, while the Alter Rebbe was in jail, however we understand it, whether it was a vision, a dream, a heavenly visitation, the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid came to the Alter Rebbe while he was in jail. And he asked them, what is the reason that I'm here, that I'm in jail. And they said there is an accusation even in heaven that the way that you're teaching is it's not the right time. And so the Alter Rebbe, in a very open way, said, well, should I stop? If that's what the sign from heaven is. But both the Maggid and the Baal Shem Tov said, no. It's like a test. And not only should you continue to teach Chassidut in the way that you are, you should increase it. And so that was a turning point in the development of Chabad, because when the Alter Rebbe got out of jail, he increased his attempts to spread Chassidut, and he was incredibly successful. And I think everyone knows the tremendous presence of Chabad all over the world. One does not have to be part of the Chabad movement to appreciate the tremendous things that Chabad does for the Jewish world, and accepts every Jew, reaches out to non-Jews to spread the light of Torah. And so the Yud Tet B'Kislev, which was yesterday, but again, his true liberation was today on the 20th of Kislev, is a sign for all of us that in the midst of the situation that we have now, and with Hanukkah coming, the greatest darkness of the year, the nights are the longest, that we need to add light to the world. We need to bring light wherever we can, healing and tidings of redemption. And Bezrat Hashem, this coming Hanukkah, we will see the spread of the light of Torah to the entire world. When we light our candles in the window or outside or big public lightings that Chabad is famous for around the world, that light should turn the darkness, and we should all experience a true redemption very soon.